Hey guys, it's Mike, and welcome back to Old School's Garage. Well, I was kind of hoping today to make steering happen on the car, but unfortunately, the parts I ordered from Speedway, through no fault of theirs or mine, the parts went from where they are in Nebraska to Jacksonville, Florida, which is about 3 hours from me. Made it to there, and then disappeared. Well, they popped back up a few days later, and now they're sitting in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. So apparently, the best way to get from Jacksonville to my house here is going through the Virgin Islands. So unfortunately, we're not going to make steering happen today. But what we are going to do, because there's plenty of work still to do on the car, we're going to work on the driver's side lower rear quarter panel because it needs some help. Let me show you what we got. As you can see, it's pretty rough down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a patch, and we're going to go ahead and fix this today. Hopefully get that done. And then we're also going to go ahead and get this wheel off. May go ahead and make rear brakes, put rear brakes on the car, mock them up. And I've got something different for back here also, too. And I'll show you that probably later on. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. I do have a template here of the quarter panel of what I'm going to need. I actually made this from the passenger side that I had, and so I went ahead and made that up. And I got a piece of sheet metal here, so we'll go ahead and get that all cut out, and we'll start bending it up, and we'll see if we can actually make a lower rear quarter panel for this car. All right, let me be right back and get all set up. All right, so we got our template here on our sheet metal, and got our marker, get everything lined up here. And what we'll just do is do a quick trace down here. And just now I'm just using 18 gauge sheet metal that I got from my local sheet metal supply. Um, I bought a whole 4x10 section. And so we know that this is going to be the front, and this is the rear, because I need to know that for myself. And so now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get this cut out so we have a rough shape of it. Okay, now we got everything all marked out, and what we'll do is go ahead and cut this out, and we'll get ready to bend it, and hopefully have a nice template out of this. All right, let's see what we can do. Okay, so we got our piece of sheet metal clamped to the bench, and I'll go ahead and get this cut out. Give me just one moment. Okay, well, got this all set up. What I'm going to do is actually going to take my die grinder and just make a couple of passes right here, nice light passes, and just to give it what you want to do. You want to just scratch it. You don't want to cut. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, so I just put a couple of light scores in there, and we'll see what happens now. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hammer and dolly and go ahead and bend this up. Hammer, dolly, and see what we can do. Now I'm hoping with this microphone that I'm using now that it didn't pick up that compressor at all. If it did, guys, I'm really sorry. I'll just have to narrate over it or something like that. But all right, let's see what we can do here. Actually, let me take this off. There we go. Make it a little bit easier for me. Put it right there on the curve. All right, this isn't working at all. So, all right, guys, tell you what, give me just a minute. Let me figure something out here a little bit better. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Got moved over here to the bench and see. Okay, well, here it is. Got it all knocked up. Now I can tell you can see it's got a little bit of a curve. It doesn't need much. There's just a little bit of a curve. Now the rest of it's all just going to be pretty much straight, except for like right here. But I think we should be okay. And we'll go ahead and see if we can get that all bent up here in just a second. All right, so I think what I'm just going to do on here, I'm going to do the same thing like I did on here on this point, and just score this and just bend it up. Just it won't fit in the brake with this already bent up. So we'll just go ahead and just score it and just bend it right up. And go ahead and do that now. All right, guys. Well, after a lot of beating and manipulating of the metal, we actually got ourselves a not a bad piece to work with. This is going to go really good on the car. Test fitted a few times. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and just put a couple of tech screws in there, and I think I'm going to call it for today. Put it up on the car just to see how it looks. All right, let's see what we can do here. All right, so there we go. So we got a couple of tech screws holding it in. Looks pretty good. As far as for right here, uh, I don't know if these aren't going to stay. These wheels are not staying. These are only 14-inch wheels, and they're the wrong style for the time period. The wheels I have are a little bit different, and the tires are bigger. So we're probably going to wind up radiusing this out a little bit more. So most likely some of this is going to go away anyway. And so, but this should be flush. But with it just being as bad as it is right there, like I said, a lot of this will be going away. If we do have to make another piece, we can make another piece and put it in there. It's not a big deal. But wow, that's pretty cool right there. You see, it does wrap around, and of course, there is still a little bit more finessing you need to do to it. But for the most part, yeah, you know what, I can live with that. That's not horrible at all. A little more beating, uh, a little more manipulating, but there's the main piece, and that's gonna look really good. And guys, remember, this is just gonna be a race car, a daily driver type car. It's not gonna be no show car, no World of Wheels, no SEMA build. So, but yeah, I'm definitely digging that, and I think it looks really good. So there we are. There's another piece of the puzzle. Next thing actually we're just gonna do is a little more finessing to it, and then we'll go ahead and get it all welded in, and it'll be permanent to the car. All right, guys. Well, you know what? I appreciate you following along at Old School's Garage. Don't forget to check me out on all the socials on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Also, too, don't forget, do have shirts, hats, and a mug. Check out bonfire.com. Link is in the bio. So appreciate everybody watching. Until next time, I'm out of here. See ya.